Hello and welcome back to another early adopter edition. In this episode, we're going to talk about model libraries. So we are in a blank Sparx project. We've named the project Temp Test. It's a temporary test instance on our desktop. And we're going to talk about model libraries. So from the Start tab, if you go over to Collaborate panel, you see a selection called Model Library, and let's go ahead and select it. So we're in the default layout and it's popping up in the browser window. So browser, inspector, and libraries. It is blank, and this is where we're going to start. So if you need help, you can see this question mark icon. It takes you to the Sparx Help Center, where you're able to go through and get ahead if you want on model libraries. We're not going to be able to talk about everything in this episode. We'll be covering more in advanced episodes, but that's help if you need to get to it. Let's go back to help. Should have kept that up. So basically, Sparx touts the model library as a forum in which you can discuss the development and progress in any project, including documents, specification requirements. And when I say documents, diagrams, models, there is so much that you're able to share. And I just want to warn people to be careful, modelers, to be careful on not getting carried away here, because it's pretty exciting. And I know you want to share everything that you have in your model across projects, but there are many other alternatives we have talked about, such as XMI, which is XML metadata interchange, patterns, you can put hyperlinks in to access, and so much more. So be careful, follow a best practice within your company or shop for your model library and how you're going to use it. So in the library window, we have a toolbar across the top here. We already talked about help. The first one is creating a new topic. And if you select it, you get a new category topic, and I'm just going to leave it as new category for now and click outside. You get a team document associated to this category folder. Now, if you're sharing your model library across other projects, as soon as you put anything in the library, it will become available. So you can notify your team members using discussions, forums, and other means to communicate with them. So if you want to remove a folder, in this case, the new category folder, you can right click on it and you go down, delete, and then are you sure? And yes, and it's gone. So as they're refreshing, if they get excited about something that you've added and started getting into it and you remove it, well, you're going to have to let them know why, or they're going to be blocked out and contact you anyways to say, hey, what happened? I saw you added a new category. I'm trying to follow you. And you'll have to let them know. So get good communication plan and action, and make sure you're following your best practices. The next selection is refresh. And so you can refresh any branch in your library. And later on in the episode, we'll talk about connecting to other projects, and you can refresh to see what's changed in a library. So refresh. The next one is this control box. And in this one, you're able to access any other libraries in which you've connected to. So in this case, the asset repository is shared a library. If we select it, we go right into their library, and then we can look across anything that they're sharing, which we'll talk about more in the episode in a moment. But this is the control bar here to access other instances. Let's go back to our current model. And there we go, we're back and it's still blank. The next tool item on the bar is search. And if you select this, you get this little pop-up here. Unfortunately, you can't close it once you've selected it. And right now there's nothing to search for, so these are disabled. But you can put in a particular term and look for what you intend to find within this, and it will go down to it. But essentially, you can match the case. You can look for full words. Later on, when you're using this, depending on the theme to become visible, you'll be able to see those checkboxes. So in order to create a new category, because you need to start with a category, again, you can use this, pops up, and you have an opportunity to rename it. Let's just call this first model library. Just type out the whole thing, right? Okay, then select out. And again, you get the team document here. And you can always rename this by right-clicking on it or hitting Function key 2 and renaming it. But let's go with this right now. Let's right-click and create another one. This one is new category from template. And this gives you the opportunity to choose what the document looks like. So we're going to go new category by template, right? Now you get this dialog box up where you can choose either none, no template, or from particular templates that are available, including custom templates. There are no custom templates in here. Let's just go down, version review, and then we're going to hit OK, right? And you get an opportunity to name it. I would name it what the category is, such as version review, or whatever you're reviewing, or whatever the document is, all right? So now we have a team document up, which you can't rename team document. It is version review, team document, and it is ready to go. Let's go ahead and close team document for version review and reopen it. You'll see in the pop-up or quick access menu, show contents, and it launches it back up. Now notice over in the properties, it's all disabled. There are no properties to these items that you can manage. They're managed from their original source, right? And then you'll notice that if you go to this category and you right click on it, you do not have show contents in the quick access menu. You have to close this one, and we're going to go ahead and go to this, close it, go back to this, and now show contents shows up again. This is first model library, team document content. So let's go ahead and close it, go back over here, and let's add a new topic. Notice when you select the category folder, you have new topic and new topic from template, right? And notice this quick pop-up menu, this quick access menu, and I'm going to probably refer to it as pop-up, but that pops up when you right click. Let's go ahead and add a new topic, and it's going to be blank. And then I'm just going to leave a new topic, and you get another team document folder relevant to this new topic. Notice when you right click on new topic that you get this pop up, right? So new document from template, of course, rename. We'll talk about copy path in a moment. We'll talk about these other things in a moment. But notice the difference in this pop-up versus this pop-up, all right? Versus this pop-up, right? So new topic, and in here, new document. So don't get confused when you're trying to get to quick access to do things. Understand how the quick access menus or pop-up menus work for you when you're selecting them. This time, let's create a new topic from template. And so we select that, and let's call this version review. And then let's select outside of it. We get the dialog box that pops up. We're going to hit this, and we're going to go down to version review and hit OK. So now we have a topic in the category version review. We have a topic. Now, a version of what? You might want to rename this and say requirements version review, or whatever the artifact or element that you're reviewing. Let's go ahead and delete this one. Right click on it, go down to delete topic, and it is gone. Now I have a habit of always hitting refresh. Don't have to do that. I'm just trying to clean things up if they're hanging. Let's right click outside of a category, new category from template, and the dialog box will pick something for this, and we're going to pick hardware decisions. So hardware decisions, hit OK, and we get a template, canned template from Sparx. And again, you can create custom templates for this, and we may show that if we have time in this video. But now you're getting this. Give this a name, And we're going to call this solution approach. And then select outside of it. Close this team document. Right click again on it. Show contents. And so there it is. Flipping over to the asset repository, what we're going to do is share some resources so that we can pick them up in the other project. All right. So we have model library up for the asset repository. We're going to right click on this and we're going to share a resource, package from current model. Then what we can do is we can go down and find the package we want to share. It's this building block diagram right here, this package. So let's go ahead and hit OK. Now, as soon as we do that, we get a folder called resources and in it, what we just shared. Essentially, in the asset repository, we have a staging area where we built out this model, which has 4 primary elements. You have 2 sub-elements under a service exchange that's in here. The package includes the entire building block model. The diagram only is showing a few of the elements out of here. So this is what we just shared. Let's flip back over to our test project here and let's add this resource. Now if we go to the control box, hit this drop down, we're going to go to asset repository. I'll show you how to connect to other projects, other repositories a little later on in the video, but let's go ahead and connect. And you can see here, we've got resources now available with what was just shared out of that repository. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on this and import the current model, this project. So we're going to select this and there's nothing in here right now except for the model folder. And I double clicked on it and it put it underneath the model root folder. Otherwise, you would have had an opportunity to create a new package. But let's go ahead and open it. You can see that it is the same model that we just shared from our asset repository. So we're going to go back to our test instance. You can see it's the same model. Very important note, when we brought this element over to this target, the GUID for cloud data instance was this one right here. If we go over to the targeted instance where we brought over the same element, that GUID is this one ending in B5, all right? So it strips GUIDs for you so you don't get conflicts when you're working on elements. So this is a very important note. If you want to maintain the global unique IDs, you would bring it over from the asset repository using native XML or OMG XMI, but you would bring them over using model interchange, all right? And that will keep the global unique IDs GUIDs unless you purposely strip the GUIDs during the import. So as I had stated earlier, we brought over the entire package, including elements that are not in the diagram. Let's go ahead and drag and drop the e-commerce site element in here. We're going to put it right here as a link. There we go. You'll notice that it maintains the GUID connectivity within the model. So it knows that this element here is associated to this element, and this element. So it maintains the integrity of your model data when you're exchanging between projects. So it may strip the global unique IDs, but it maintains the connectivity of those GUIDs from GUID to GUID or element to element as you're working from your model library. So we're in our test environment and we're going to switch our libraries back to current model. We created this category for solution approach. We're going to right click on this and new topic from template. And this is going to be hardware decisions. And then what we're going to do in that is we're going to go down and choose hardware decisions. Here we go. Hit OK. Now, from the other model library, an important pro tip is that you copy the path. So if we go down here to where this resource was, we right click in here, copy path to clipboard. And then we're going to go back to our current model. And in here we have hardware decisions. Let's go ahead and open it up. And what I want to do right here is paste. So Control V brought in the link of where our model came from. So it came from the asset repository, and the name of the model that we imported or created from the library is this name right here. So that's a pro tip. It's very important that you're constantly referencing the other source, so that feature is available to do that. Now let's talk about adding a file system document. Let's go to first model category. We're going to right click in here, and you have an option underneath this called add file system document. We're going to go ahead and select it. Go to your document repository where you have artifacts that you want to share. Let's just pick this first one right here and hit OK, hit open. Now this artifact is available in your model library under resources, under the category in which you brought in the file system. Let's go ahead and double click this, and it's going to open that document or any document that you have linked. Next, while we're in the first model library here, we are going to add a URL. So select this and copy the path in, and then give it a name. And it's going to be the name or title of the whatever you're linked to using the URL. So let's just go ahead and hit OK, and let's launch it. And it is taking us to the model library help screen. And so we can copy the name. Usually I'll use the name of the article, come back over here, rename this to that name. And now I have a URL that launches whatever I intend to launch. Let's do another one. Let's go down to solution approach. I'm actually going to see if add URL is available under the topic. And yes, it is. We're going to hit add URL. We're going to put in our URL, and then a name or just something to fill the space. It's just faster to do that. And then let's go ahead and launch it. So it's taking it to the UML operator blog, and is UML compliance necessary article. So what I'll do now is I will copy the title here that's available, and bring that over here where I'll hit function key 2. And I think I missed something like the capital I. And now this URL is available to launch this blog article. And during development on a website, you might be using the URL that references the existing page that you're focused on in any discussion. But adding URL is very powerful, just like adding documentation from your library. And you can always update your URLs by right-clicking on it and edit. And then you're going to bring up the dialog again where you can edit the name, you can edit the URL, and so on. We're going to start wrapping up now. Video's getting a little long, but I do need to show you how you can bring in an image. So if you right-click anywhere on here, let's use resource. You'll notice that add image of active diagram is grayed out. It's disabled. And so it says active diagram. Let's go to this diagram here and right click on this again. Now it's enabled. So we can add this diagram. You can change the name. We're just going to accept the name and hit OK. And now it's added this diagram that users can launch to view what is in context. So that's another feature for your library. You can bring in diagrams. I don't recommend doing that, but it's helpful when you're having a review conversation in bringing in those diagrams, because it freezes or takes a snapshot of the diagram, especially when you're doing versioning. We'll talk about that more in advanced sessions. Let's look at the quick access menus. Here's the diagram. That's what it looks like. Here's a URL. This is what it looks like. We talked about edit, rename. You can copy the path for documentation purposes. And then resource package the ability to add an image since we have the active image up, add a file system document. We talked about that. And of course, adding a package. We talked about that. Let's right click on the next one, which is the topic. And you can see quick access change. We can set security options, add more connections. There's options, which we'll talk about later in a later session, and more. So let's go to the category. And we talked about how the quick access menu, the pop-up menu, changes as you're moving between a category and a topic. Since I mentioned passwords, just be careful when you're doing it. So security options, apply password lock, then you put in whatever the password lock is. Be very careful not to do this unless you know what you're doing. Usually your model administrator will lock certain content down. Your legal department may come in and lock certain documents or areas down. And we'll cover that in a more advanced session. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out. And then the other one I briefly touched on was options. And so we'll talk about this in a later session. We're running out of time here. Yeah, I'm going to cover this in another session because this is kind of an important topic, especially when you're reviewing your library over a period of time. I think mark as unread is critical as you've been opening and requires restart. But if you want to, just go to help here. It'll take you to library options and step you through. So we're at a point where we've created our model library. Let's connect to it from another project. So let's switch over to separate project, my learning. And what we're going to do here is from the model library. Let me go ahead and just move this out to the middle here. We're going to right click in here, connections. So when we select this, we have the ability to create a new connection. From local file, you can ODBC connect, or you can use a connection string that you've created within your project. So let's use the local. So when you select this, you go out to where that file is, that project is, and you select it, right? Then you hit open. Now I already did it. So for temp test, so here is where it's located. As I stated on my desktop, it's temporary. Probably not a good idea because I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to use this to connect to them and hit open. And so now that is available under temp test in here. So version, solution, resources, all of that is now available in this project. So if I go back over to temp test and then let's bring model library out to the middle, just drag and drop here, make it a little smaller like that. Now this is available to any projects that I allow to connect to my library. So this is the most powerful feature of Model Library, is the ability to share across all of your instances, because I have a lot of projects in my asset repository. Managing all of the projects that I have can be very complicated. I can literally share this cover page with all of its links that launches these various projects, whether they're local files or they're SQL files. So congratulations, you just did your first model library. And I know that a lot of people have been asking about model library. I've been trying to get to it, but other things are going on. So I hope this session was helpful for you. Please leave comments down below, good or bad. Post your questions and concerns there, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, okay? This is a very important subject. I have not been using it during previous demos because I did not want to trigger more questions and concerns at that time. You're going to see me using Model Library a lot more as we're moving forward. So thanks again for watching. I know it's a long session. It's a very important subject. It's going to be very productive for you when you're using multiple projects across multiple teams. You're able to connect local files. You're able to connect via SQL instances and Cloud SQL. so much more where you can share your intelligence using Model Library. So until that next episode, happy modeling.